Hello, beautiful beings of light that chose to come into your bodies at this time on planet Earth. Thank you so much for joining me on this planet. Do you remember saying you were going to do this? I don't remember, but I'm sure that some of you remember. My name is Natalie. This is Natalie Levin Astrology. And I would love to tell you about the energy of Gemini today, Gemini suns, Gemini risings. And I invite you to keep in mind that I am seeing the astrology through the veil of my experience in this lifetime. So if it doesn't match for you, let it go. Take what you like and leave the rest. Gemini is, I'm thinking of my dear Gemini friends who always are the people who could read a text, like in high school, they could read something once and then they knew it and they understood it, and they barely had to study for tests. And they had, then they'd like ace the test. And I say, how did you do that? And they're like, I don't know, like, can't you? And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And the Gemini people that I know are also very, the energy of this, if you have a Gemini rising, Gemini sun, it's very fast moving. It is shifts, it changes, it is a mutable sign, it's air. Picture that over and over and over, and it never stops because the wind never stops, and Gemini energy never stops. It's so dynamic. Gemini energy is words. Gemini energy is data. I am the supercomputer as the Gemini sun, Gemini rising, and I take in information and I process it, and then I deliver it to you after metabolizing it in a new form. If I have a lot of Gemini energy in my chart, I am usually skillful with computers, with being able, like people with Gemini energy might be really talented with words, with computer coding, with mercurial tasks, writers. If you have a lot of Gemini energy and it has not come to you yet to explore writing, I wonder what it would be like to allow that seed to be planted. Like, maybe I would love to write with all my Gemini energy. I'm not sure. With Gemini energy, it is twins. So, you know, I recently worked with someone with like 5 planets in Gemini. And when that happens for me, it's almost like there's 5 sets of twins in the psyche, which is the Greek word for soul, in the psyche of that human. So if I have 5 planets in Gemini, it's almost like I have 10 voices that are all talking all the time. It is very busy in my mind. It is not boring to be around me. It is also not boring to be me. And it can be very tiring. It can feel like, oh my gosh, I need a break from my brain with all the Gemini energy. Can I get a break? I hear this from people with a lot of Gemini energy, like, oh my gosh, there's so much information always moving around in my head. And it's really hard for me to like picture when the wind is blowing so fast and so hard. And it can feel difficult to feel settled when, at least for me, it can feel difficult to feel settled when the wind is so active in the heavens and in the trees. And then how do I land back in my body and feel grounded and steady? So that can be challenging for people who are Gemini suns and Gemini risings. What do I do as a Gemini to land more in my body and less in my brain? Maybe I go and roll around in the grass. Maybe I go take a walk and feel my feet on the pavement. Maybe I go and roll around in the mud, or maybe I go into water. Water can contain all that wind. Maybe I go and into like a body of water. Maybe there's a lake or an ocean or a pool or my bathtub. And if none of that is available, then the shower, if you have a shower. I know some of you might not even have that. So then if that happens, can I even take like a spray bottle of water and mist myself? Like, this is enough. You get to get creative, Gemini suns, Gemini moons. You get to be creative with how you contain your energy. Gemini can be very, very funny when I'm around people who they have so much access to this quicksilver word art that they can be really swift with how words come out, and it can make me laugh really, really hard. Many stand-up comedians have a lot of Gemini in their charts, so that's interesting. And when there's so much Gemini energy and you're working with that in this human incarnation, sometimes it can feel really challenging to, what is it like for me to not talk? What is it like for me to sit and allow all this information to come in and hold it, to strengthen my energetic container so that the wind doesn't blow out. So I don't, like, there's not a leak in my energetic container. If someone popped the balloon and my wind is going, whoosh. What is the advanced work, perhaps, of me containing all of this very swift moving mercurial energy and holding it and allowing myself, it's almost like I'm doing this. Oh my God, it made me dizzy. What make you dizzy, Geminis, to just hold the energy and see what it's like, even for 1 minute. You know, if I were to work on holding my breath for, let's say, a year, after a year, I feel like I could hold my breath for a very, very long time compared to what I just did, which was very meager. I really invite you to imagine that that is something you could do if you want to, Geminis, to strengthen your energetic container, to hold the space for all of this super fast moving energy. That is what it's like to be you. Hold the energetic container around that and not actually do anything. Simply let it be and hold it. And what more is revealed as you do that practice. I thank you so much for trusting me as your channel to tell you about Gemini energy. I would love to hear what it's like to hear what I said, if you feel like commenting. And I invite you to like, subscribe, and share this video. My name is Natalie Levin, and you may schedule an appointment with me at natalielevinastrology.com. Thank you so much. Take good care.